Check, 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 check. Check, check, check. Check, check, check. Alright, we're good. Hey guys, it's me, Brian, of the Brian and Manny podcast. I just want to give you guys a quick update when it comes to this channel and where we're at content-wise and what I'm going to be doing going forward for this channel. So, last time I spoke to y'all, I deeply apologized for not having content up, and also I deeply apologize because of the timing of everything, and then obviously Manny got sick and I couldn't get him, and that's why we did the farewell before 2K25 drop, which by the way 2K25 has been a lot of fun. DLC is supposed to be dropping for it next week, and I think I will stream a launch stream of us playing the DLC, so stay tuned to that. But that's not what this is for. This is to update the channel what's going to happen for the future. I am thinking of slowly but surely starting up streaming again. I took a massive break from it because if you guys don't know, and I love my supporters that supported the previous podcast and everything, and people that support me on Instagram, which I'll be putting. I just did an NBA recap on my live story on Instagram, and I was so passionate about it, and I knew at that point I had to fire up a stream. But the update is I do want to start producing content for you guys. And I'm basically at a point where I want to do it with two parties. So I'm going to try to explain how this is going to work. We are still thinking of doing live shows and pay-per-views for WWE. It is something that I want to do, and it is something I'm super, super passionate about. It is something I'm very passionate about. Sorry, if this thing gets copyrighted, I'm very sorry. I'll probably re-record it, but because I forgot I had the music on. Anyway, you can probably still hear my audio. But yeah, something I'm really passionate about is talking, podcasting, doing wrestling, and that's just a passion of mine. And I want to keep that going. But like I said before, a lot of things, personal reasons have gotten in the way, and I just haven't been able to do that, and I'm so deeply sorry. I put a couple updates on my Instagram the last time. This time around I didn't because it was such a personal reason that I just couldn't even update, the viewers that follow me on Insta, and I'm deeply sorry about that. So, what is the plan for the channel? Well, here's what I want to do. My plan for the channel is an interesting approach. What I mean by this? Yes, this is still going to be the Brian and Manny podcast. It is going to be me and Manny talking. Me and Manny are going to still talk about wrestling, and we're still going to do that. But to make it very simple for us, we're going to make it very simplified. Because I see, and I even went back and looked at this, the views on, and again, like I said, I don't really care about views. I'm just very passionate about what I love to do. The Raw reviews do a solid number. Those do a lot of good numbers. And the pay-per-view reviews also do very well. Even if those are later on. So I think going forward, I'm going to keep it as simple baseline as possible so I don't stress myself out. Mondays, or actually no, not Mondays, the Tuesday after Raw goes off the air, if Manny is available, or potentially Wednesday, you will get me and Manny reviewing Monday Night Raw. Then, Thursday, because that's when I usually do my pay-per-view, predictions. We'll do pay-per-view predictions. And then somewhere next week, probably that Monday, you'll get a review of the pay-per-view, which coming up actually is Backlash for WWE. I did a massive thing with him in WrestleMania, and I wanted to do recording so bad, but I was such in a bad state, I couldn't give y'all the ultimate WrestleMania coverage. And I gotta make up for that. So here's the plan when it comes to 2-night events. Now again, the only other 2-night event going on this year that they're testing out is SummerSlam. So here's what we're gonna do. For SummerSlam, we're gonna split up the review into 2 separate parts, so we don't overstress ourselves. Night 1 will be recorded basically a day before Night 2 goes on the air. So that Sunday, probably in the afternoon, if he's available, we're going to review Night 1. And then Night 2, which potentially, even though I'm not saying I'm not going to SummerSlam, potentially there's a chance I could be going to SummerSlam, Monday or Tuesday you would get the review for Night 2. And we'll talk about it. So that's the plan right now. I'll talk to Manny about it when I get a chance. But I am ready to restart our goal of doing podcasting. And we'll lead off just like how we did. Whatever episode number I was on, I'll just continue that number. But I want to also add some extra fun activities I'm going to be doing on the channel. Yes, you will get your reviews, your in-depth reviews of Monday Night Raw and pay-per-views as well. I'm not adding SmackDown just for the simple fact of that's way too many, and SmackDown is longer than Raw, so I don't want to stress myself. Maybe in the future, if SmackDown maybe goes back to 2 hours, that might be the plan, maybe, just maybe, I add SmackDown. But again, Friday's a tough day, so I'm not holding my breath for it. But yeah, pay-per-views and Raw are the 2 most important things to me. That's what we're going to start doing. And we're going to start, either if I can get him this week, either this week or next week. We're going to start our Monday Night Raw review, Raw reactions again. Where we watch Raw, and then Tuesday or Wednesday, you get a review from us about Monday Night Raw. So we can get back into the swing of things. We're going to do that. But the extra fun activities I want to do is obviously post a bunch of fun matches and other games that are non-podcast-ish. So if the channel goes live when I'm doing gaming, it'll just say SE, which SE means special episode. That means it does not count part of the number numeral. Like when I did the farewell, yes, it said an episode, but it didn't add to the podcast name. We just talked about 2K24 with Rob and Ethan. And Manny was there for a little bit. I did all those. So I might do the same thing for, like, let's say I want to play, 3v3 with my friends Mad and Smack, let's say. I can do a stream and stream baseball with them. Or if I want to do some Fortnite, I could do some Fortnite with my friends and stream it. But the thing is, I'm not going to mark it as a podcast episode. I'm going to mark it as a SE, which is a special episode where it's just like gaming footage. And I will split that up on the channel. I will make a separate playlist with all of the podcast and a separate playlist for SE episodes, where if it's SE, it's a gaming episode where I'm not really doing much wrestling and predictions and talking. But the actual podcast will be the Raw reviews and the pay-per-views. And I'm also going to incorporating some new people. I haven't talked to them about it yet, but I will talk to them probably in the next couple days, where I am going to get more guests to join me. What do I mean by that? I'm going to get guests to chat with me about, WWE as a whole, anything they want to talk about specifically. And I want to make this announcement right now. I want to announce two things. The friends I'm going to be bringing on to this are friends that are passionate about what I love and very honest about everything. So, when I do this, I'm going to be bringing in some friends that are extra passionate about it. And those friends are Ethan Jenkins and Robert. That's right. Ethan and Robert will be joining me on the podcast at some point. I don't know when, but they will join me. It is something that I've wanted to do for a while, but I wanted to slowly integrate it because, again, the name says Brian and Manny Podcast, and that's not going away. But once in a while, if I can't get Manny to do it, I might do it with those boys and do some of the reviews with them and take a different perspective. Because it is two different perspectives. So, for me, the goal of this is to basically get back into the jump of things, do the podcast, and have fun. And do that. That's kind of where I'm at right now. There might even potentially, and I might add this on later on, there's a chance we might add some new topics that's not just wrestling, because recently I've been watching a ton of great movies and also watching some great sports. So I might do maybe like a playoff analysis for maybe the MLB playoffs when we get into the later months. Maybe we do something like that, where I talk about who I think is going to win the World Series, who I think is going to win the playoffs, and it could be a lot of fun. So that's something I might do. But we'll see when we get there down the line. But for now, to wrap it up, and then I'll do a quick little Q&A. Basically, reviews, Raw and pay-per-views are not going away. Those are staying on the channel. And also predictions for pay-per-views are also staying on the channel. But I'm not adding any extra shows. I'm not adding NXT. I'm not adding SmackDown. I'm focusing on the A show, Monday Night Raw, and I'm focusing on the A stuff when it comes to pay-per-views. Because that's the important stuff. That's where all the stories and everything happens. So here's... sorry, it's also really late. Here is the plan for the podcast. And I will post this schedule on my Instagram. Monday Night Raw will either be Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on how Manny feels. Tuesday, Wednesday. Then Thursday, you get, if there's a pay-per-view, you get pay-per-view reactions and pay-per-view predictions. And then maybe in between the week, if I'm feeling like, I just want to put something up, maybe I do a SE. Maybe I do a special episode, which is basically a gaming episode, where I just play like a random game, or I just pop on stream randomly and just play a multiplayer with my friends for a couple hours or something. So yeah, but that's kind of the plan right now. That's what I want to do. Um, but for right now, um, it is. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting what's next for this channel, because when I reset it and I made the Manny and Brian podcast, I was amazed. I was amazed of the work that me and Manny did and the growth. But then again, that personal stuff came up, and I don't want to go too detailed into it because it is very personal to me, so I will not be revealing that right now. Maybe in the future, I do like a special episode where I go in depth. But for right now, I will be keeping it to myself. But yeah, I want to get back in the swing of things. I'm going to talk to Manny tomorrow, and we're gonna get back to that. Because I told him this year we are gonna get back to it, but I just need a few months to breathe, and then I'll get back in the swing of things. And now I feel it's more comfortable. I feel now I'm ready to get back into the swing of things. So yeah, that's kind of the update of the channel. I'll be posting this video on my Instagram with a link so people can get an idea on what the plan is. But to review real quick, Monday Night Raw reviews, Netflix Raw reviews, Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on when Manny wants to do it. Thursday, Prediction Warfare, aka we predict who's going to win the pay-per-view. And then on any random day, could be the weekend, could be during the week before the review goes live, maybe an SE where I just post a thing, a gaming that I'm doing, or if I want to just post some funny things with my friends, I'll post that. And for you, like I said, if you are a WWE 2K25 kind of guy, don't worry. I'm not leaving y'all out, because not only am I going to be using that for some of the predictions, I will also be using, like when DLC comes out, I'll be using it for that as well. And yeah, that's kind of what's going on. So now we're going to get to the mini Q&A before I, go, and let's do it. Question number 1. This is a bit of a Q&A. Why don't you do NXT stuff? And could you potentially be adding NXT to the Prediction Warfare? So NXT, it's not that I hate the brand. I actually love the NXT brand. What Shawn Michaels has done with that NXT brand has found my love for the black and gold style NXT, but with a twist. With those fun and very sexualized characters like Lola Vice and Jada Parker and everything like that. I love that kind of stuff. But the problem with NXT is it's right after Raw. And that's not a problem because, again, Tuesday night, you can hop on and watch the next day and review it. But that Wednesday, if I wanted to do NXT, especially since usually me and Manny wait an extra day just to get a break, and then we review it, if it is going to be on Wednesdays, it's just not going to work because it's going to intervene with our Raw reviews. With our Raw reviews and our podcasting, it's just going to cut into that. And I can't, it just won't work. Now, the idea of adding NXT to potentially prediction warfare, if there's no WWE pay-per-view happening that week, maybe we could do a special predictions warfare talking about NXT, especially since a lot of the people in NXT are starting to get added to the game, like Julia, Stephanie Vecchio, Jordan Grace. There's still some names that are not on there, but there's a ton of names that have got added that I could work with, so I'll consider that. But it's definitely not a no. It's a no on the shows because, again, it just won't work with my flow and my scheduling. But for pay-per-views, I might consider. So stay tuned. You might get some NXT stuff from me. Next question. Firstly, thank you for revealing what's going on. We're here to support you. Thank you. What do you think about the releases? Well, I guess we can get a little practice since, we usually go very in depth. I think the releases this week, which if my podcast listeners don't know, a lot of our favorite women stars and like a one or two men that I really like got released by WWE and TKO Group Holdings. Two people were released from NXT that I loved, and then there were like one or two people from the main roster that I also really love. But those releases were insane. Um, the releases were crazy. So it was a Friday night, and SmackDown was coming on. It was going to be the in-ring return of Aleister Black versus The Miz. Banger match, by the way. Also, super happy Aleister's back. But we get, I think, an hour before the show goes on the air. It's confirmed by sources, so Fightful, PW Insider. They're like, hey, talent at the upper ledge, so like creative process people, producers and stuff. Not all producers were getting let go, and social media people were also getting let go. Like the dude from The Bump, I forget his name, he got released. And then there was a really 20-year veteran social media guy that did like video packages. He is also getting let go by WWE. So we all thought, oh, it's just going to be that. But then we should have heeded the warning. It was going to get down to talent. And talent that got released was insane. On the main roster side, some names. Braun Strowman, released for the second time. Shayna Baszler, kind of a, notice to her, but kind of a blessing in disguise. I think her in the Indies is going to go hard. A reset was needed for her. I'm happy about that. Even though you should also suck to get released, so fair enough. Oral Mensa from Meta-4. Yikes. And then the two main ones that hurt my soul so much, and also TG Dolan also hurt a lot too, just because of Tatum Paxley, and Shotzi got released too because her contract was coming, so they let her go. Cora and Dakota were the ones that hurt the most, because Dakota had so much potential to finally win a singles title and prove that her NXT work was worth the work to get called up and get re-signed to WWE. But no, they gave it to Lyra Valkyria, and that's nothing against Lyra, because I respect Lyra, and her in-ring work is excellent, and her and Becky Lynch is going to be a fun match. But that so could have been Dakota. That so could have been Dakota that first time on like the third or fourth episode of Netflix on Raw. They announced the tournament final. That so could have been those two. But no, they went Lyra, they didn't go Dakota, and it broke my heart. So that sucked. And as a Roxy fan for the Cora Jade side, it sucks because I was going to so get behind Cora a lot this year. Last year I was slowly getting behind Cora Jade because I was getting a little impatient because of the injuries. But again, she seemed like she was going to finally stay healthy after that final, hopefully, surgery that keeps her healthy. She was starting to finally get healthy. And from a business side, which is the worst part, I do understand it from a business side, but as a fan side, it sucks. It kind of sucks, and it puts a black eye into this deal with TKO Holdings because of the amount of money they're making, but the amount of people that they got to let go, even though they don't need to really cut anybody because they make so much money financially. So it's kind of a double-edged sword in a bad way because, revenue is up, ticket sales are up, even with the pricing, the ticket sales are still up, because people are craving for WWE. Tons of other things are happening. Like, a lot of things are happening right now. But doing the releases, that just put a bullet in the hole. And it was really hard to watch SmackDown while the releases were happening. I had to get it off my mind. But it was hard. It was very difficult to watch SmackDown while the releases were happening. And even though they gave me Aleister Black, which they're setting up Aleister Black versus Carmelo Hayes, which fuck yeah, sign me up. I still feel weird about it because like Cora had something set up for her. Like they had a feud ready for her. And it looked like it was going to be maybe a little bit of Roxy or maybe her in the women's North American division because she was always backstage talking about it. But they released her right on the spot. Right as everything was going on, boom, she's gone. So my reaction to the releases are it's just it stinks. It's bad. It's heartbreaking, especially some of the talent like Cora and stuff, and her trying. She basically had to defend her terrible reporting from Dave Meltzer of, hey, she didn't give enough effort in the performance center, but then apparently Cora got body shamed by bosses and training. Like apparently she got really bad reviews, which I was like, damn. And Gigi had the same thing defending her. So shout out to Gigi Dolan, aka Priscilla Kelly. But yeah, like while I'm happy that they're gonna be able to pick themselves up in 30 days, I feel bad for Dakota because Dakota's main roster, so she's got 90 days. But for the NXT releases, they got 30 days, so it's not as long. It's still long, but it's not as long. So in the next 28, 27 days from now, they can go wherever they want. They could set up bookings. They could find out appearances and kill it. And I hope Elena Black, aka Cora Jade, kills it. I hope Pursuit Kelly returns to form and kills it. I hope Shayna Baszler, goes back to black and gold style NXT Baszler starts breaking limbs and surprises the world. And I also hope for like Oro Mensah. I hope he finds his footing like how Duke Hudson did. Riley Osborne as well. That was another one as well. Riley Osborne, very underrated. He did well in that breakout tournament for Chase U. I hope he does well. And yeah, it's just a shitty situation. And these releases, because like I said, last year they had some releases, but it wasn't like nothing major. It rattled a little bit, but it didn't hurt that much. These ones are gonna make me look at TKO on the TKO side. A little bit with a microscope, a little bit more with a microscope, because I get it, they're an open company and they want to get cheap, but like it just shows that TKO in a way is such a double-edged sword. The pros, they're open and Triple H has full control over what he does, but the con to that is more releases. They get really cheap. They still got Def Rebel around, which I don't know why the fuck they haven't fired him yet. And they're planning to do UFC themes, which, oh no, that scares me. It's a pro and con. It's a pro and con for going open, and it sucks because those releases, and if anything, it shouldn't have happened. Like, I believe Sean was fighting for girls like Cora and Gigi. I think they were fighting for them, but TKO just got too soon to them and just axed them. But hey, that's just me thinking. Not saying it's true. But yeah, like those conversations, I think Cora's might go on like precisely interview where she announces what she's doing next. I'm very intrigued to see what she has to say about the business and how she sees it. Same with Pursuit Kelly, aka Gigi Dolan, and others. But that's a scary thing that anytime, any place on a random Friday, because I always do it on Friday, weirdly enough, releases can happen, and it happened. A lot of restructuring, and the talent had to get cut for that. So those are my thoughts on the releases. Thank you for your question. Those are my thoughts on the releases. And the final question, so, thankful that you are coming back to, let me see, oh yeah, they're very thankful that I am coming back to streaming and basically reviewing Raw, because Raw is the best show. But they also wanted to ask, firstly, I want to give a send-off to the greatest luchador in history, a Grande Americano, Gracias, which is funny. But they also wanted to know if you would potentially add other international brands to the party, and could you potentially add back All Elite? So firstly, for the international shows, so I'm assuming like New Japan and Noah and Stardom and other places, Marigold, Maybe, maybe. Right now, I don't want to focus on them too much. Those I usually like watching on my own time. TNA, I might consider TNA because TNA could be a fun prediction switch up from just WWE because sometimes TNA pay-per-views don't happen until after WWE pay-per-views. So, because like right now they're going to Under Siege, which is coming up soon, and then they're going to go to Slammiversary. With Slammiversary, I definitely might do a predictions preview on, even though I might not have the, the not the figurine, the characters to do like a let CPU play or online. Like I won't be able to do that, but I can at least have footage in the background while we talk. Like just have a bunch of footage while we talk. So I definitely am considering that. So definitely will add. And finally, question about All Elite. I am starting to slowly get back into it, I will admit. When I had that big AEW rant, it was a lot of passion. And I will say, they didn't fix everything. Definitely did not fix anything at all when it comes to story. But matches are still excellent. I mean, the triple threat match at Dynasty between Kenny, Speedball, and Ricochet was amazing. The match between Will Ospreay and Kevin Knight, chef's kiss. And there's even a match I'm probably going to watch probably the next couple days. Is Brody King versus Josh Alexander on Collision, because I think those two are incredible in the ring. And Josh Alexander, I mean, another show I haven't talked about is Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling. That show's happening, I think, on the 11th. So there's also that as well. But in general, I do think AEW still not going to add it on my card, but it is getting better matchup wise. And there's still some stories that I do like, but again, it's a double-edged sword with that one. But yeah, those are all the questions. Thank you all for sending me your Q&A questions. And I'm gonna wrap it up here. My final thoughts on everything in this update is I'm grateful that I have a great support system to get me through these tough times. And the only way to block that space is recording and talking about wrestling and anything that I want to talk about. So going forward, I will try to be as most up to date as I can on this channel and do reviews and get back into podcasting and do the thing that I love. Talk about wrestling and just enjoy life while watching wrestling. So that's it for now. Thank you so much for joining me for the update. I appreciate all of you. And I can't wait to get started. Like I said, hopefully this week we get it up and running. I'm going to talk to Manny tomorrow. But yeah, this update was important. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate y'all. And I'll see you soon for the return of the Brian and Manny podcast. Adios.